Journey with the Jawas as we explore Africa in 3 months through 8 countries. Join us as we willingly disrupt our sense of normality and challenge ourselves to live boundlessly by physically crossing borders, create deeper connections together as a family, and of course, explore the endless possibilities that exist beyond our various African borders. Hey there, it's Yolz channel. After getting lost in Zambia, we decided to cut our trip by a day. So we literally drove from the morning of waking up at the kindest stranger's home to hit the border. We got here around 4 and found a lot of stationary trucks. Some had drivers in them, but some actually didn't. And this was about a 3-kilometer stretch, but my husband decided to do what the Tans and the Zambian drivers have been teaching us on the road. Drive, my brother, just drive. You will make it. And we got to the border safely. It was a little bit chaotic, not gonna lie, with a lot of agents sort of offering themselves to help. And at this point, they were actually on the side of our car. And I just stopped filming because I was a bit overwhelmed. However, I'm really glad that we got here safely. We got here around 5 p.m. after the crazy traffic, and we spent about 3 hours at the border. We also found out that we got scammed. We actually paid double for one of our insurances that we weren't supposed to, the car insurance. And of course the roads were similar, people overtaking, not being careful. And instead of getting to exactly where we wanted to go, we had actually made a booking. We decided to just stay a little bit closer. We were literally looking out for the next accommodation. Anything that we saw, we were fine with, and we were willing to just forfeit our booking because that was about an hour stretch from the border and we'd already lost so much light. At this point, we thought it was 8 p.m., but you'll see later that we actually realized the next morning that this was 9 p.m. We'd already lost an hour, as East Africa is an hour ahead of the Central African time. And on the right, these Christmas looking lights outside this house, we almost passed it. It was actually an inn. We decided to go and check it out and eventually found a place to rest after checking 2-3 rooms and not being happy with them because we actually didn't know what the toilet situation would be like if we had to use it, which you'll see later in the video. However, I think we should have actually tried to use these, or at least Google how to use them, because, well, you'll see in the vlog, I needed to actually figure this out. Otherwise, I simply didn't know how to use these. So we checked in once we found the room that we thought would be perfect for us, and we slept right away. Woke up the next morning and I wanted to show you what the place looked like and of course catch up because we haven't done that in a while. This is very Delulu of us to think that driving through Africa is the Salulu. Yeah, this is me coming on here saying we crazy. I thought we were cool dudes, coolest parents. No, we are cool dudes, crazy parents at this point. He's just not allowed to say it like that. But we crazy to have done this and to actually think that it's gonna work out. But actually, the funny thing is that I actually believe that it's gonna work out. But at the same time, I'm scared. I've never been so scared in my life. Like Zambia, the last bit of Zambia, I was so scared. And then entering Tanzania last night, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was scared as well because it's in the middle of the night. At that time, we didn't even realize we lost a whole hour because we are officially in a new time zone, so we're an hour ahead, and we were still thinking we could check in at 10 p.m. It was actually going to be 11 p.m. so we literally just stopped at the first accommodation we saw about 30 k's out from the border, and we found a place which is this is my studio now. This place that has got load shedding. This is where we are at. We have load shedding right now, but great lighting, thank goodness. So there has to be a Sululu to the Delulu somehow. But anyway, let's see how things go in Tanzania. Hi Tans, we are here. I did not know how big this house was because the front is very deceiving. I mean, this is where we got in, and you know, just opening the door over here, we were guided to about 2 other rooms, but it is a gift that keeps on forgiving, okay? There is a variety of different rooms. There's even a restaurant. And I think the part that stuck out the most for me were the variations of the types of bathrooms that are here. There's a lot of wet rooms, and then of course the current bathroom issue, which let's address it here in the beginning, okay? I'm going to show you what this looks like. I am not used to these. I think they're called latrines, and I did actually put out a post, which you'll see in the next snap, asking how to use this. Thankfully, I now know how. I was given a tip: squat, aim, and hope for the best. Let's just say it did not turn out from the best. So how do I use this? Which way do I face? Because facing that way is what makes a mess. Facing this way, it doesn't work out. And then what do I do with the bucket? Public toilets especially look exactly like this. There's no toilet paper. There's no flushing situation. Am I allowed to even use toilet paper in the... Awkward, guys. And then the jug. There's a tap right over here. What am I supposed to do? And then in the accommodation, we basically have to keep showering the whole bathroom after use because I just don't know how to use it. Please help. Teach me how to use this. We're going back in the next 2-3 weeks. I want to be able to use the Tanzanian bathrooms. Thank you everyone who actually reached out and gave me a little bit of a rundown on how to use this. I will do better next time, I promise. At least we rested well and we're ready to go to our actual booked accommodation in Mbeya. Bye! Now, fun fact, a lot of homes are actually right up along the highway. It is 1 lane per side, so oncoming traffic has 1 lane and you also have 1 lane, and I think that's also why we also saw a lot of accidents. Thankfully, heading towards our accommodation, there wasn't a lot. There were a few tuk-tuks with a few issues, but nothing major. Going to the farm where we were going to stay, we were super excited because it's a coffee farm. Now, if you know my husband, he is a coffee fanatic. He cannot live without coffee, and he's fascinated by the variations of beans, this and that. So this for him was like pure bliss. I think Tanzania will go down as probably his favorite. We were also amazed that at the gate, some of the security guards wear their Maasai traditional wear. It was a time for us to relax, and thankfully Fez also got to connect with some friends. Don't sit, Baba. Be careful, guys. We did not actually relax. We took about an hour of just enjoying the scenery, some drinks, and then we got cracking with our work. Look at this beautiful view. There's actually a tennis court down below, literally below these trees, as well as a campsite. We stayed in one of the cottages, but before all of that, while Faze was playing with his buddies, we needed to catch up on work. For me, outside of just content creating, editing or creating or producing content from scratch, there's a lot of admin. I do also have a team, so we meet on Tuesdays. However, This Sunday gave me a time to just catch up and prep for the week ahead. Lwazi also runs a team remotely from outside South Africa. And yeah, so we just got to catch up on mostly our admin work before enjoying a good meal together as a family. And then the boys decided to swim on a whim. Lwazi literally dived in after 6 p.m. Fez decided he won't swim, then changed his mind, jumped into the pool with his clothes like that, and yeah, that was our evening. The next day was all about coffee, my husband's biggest obsession. Quite literally, I don't know how many pots we have in the car and the different types of methods he makes coffee. So this was super fitting. The farm does provide tours. There is a coffee farm on the actual land that we stayed at, and we learned that coffee is not just a plant. I don't know why I thought a bean that grows just from the ground up. And yeah, the coffee grows on trees, guys. I didn't know this. The first phase is right behind Pauli, who was actually showing us around. The coffee seeds are covered in dry grass to provide shade and humidity. Temperature is so important. Even in this clip, Pauli is actually explaining that it needs to be between 16 degrees Celsius and I think 30 or just under 30. And yeah, this is the second phase where they spend about a year in this nursery. Y'all, I did not know coffee takes so long to grow. This was actually planted in February, the Katawi, and I believe it's a blend. Also, I didn't know there was species. This is then the third phase where they start growing as bigger trees. This ground is fertile, and then guess what? On to the last stage. Coffee beans grow on large trees. What? This is also where they monitor the pesticides, the fertilizer, all of that. That's what the board was all about. And they also showed us the difference between the tree sizes and species. So over here, you're looking at the Liberica tree. There's also an Arabica tree. And of course, there's also the Robusto species. I took a young walk because my husband was literally glued to every word that was coming out of Pauli's mouth. I was listening from a distance, but I definitely wanted to have a look myself and just absorb the scenery. Y'all know I like to take the moment in, so that's what I was doing. And yeah, it was just amazing to learn about how carefully coffee is grown. Of course, once the beans are mature and they're harvested, this is the next and final stage. The roasting of the coffee beans. Most coffee beans, at least that we know of, go through a process of roasting. So this is where all the magic happens. Yo, tell me in the comment section if you had any idea how huge a plant you should actually have to just grow, authentic, good coffee. And if you knew there were so many species, also the amount of land this needs. I cannot believe this. I do believe that this farm started about 60 years ago. I will just double check those facts. Naturally, when we got back to our accommodation, we got the coffee that's been grown on this very farm. This was just such a special moment because now we were picking, from what we've learned. So we got all three types and got some gifts for our family as well. We don't always buy souvenirs for our family, but I know my siblings both love coffee so much. So we definitely did collect. We actually took one for one of them, and the second will be from where we are now in Kenya. So yeah, it was just simply absolutely amazing experience just to learn about what I drink every single day without the knowledge that they actually grow on trees. I can't be the only one who thought that's the case. Please tell me you thought coffee beans are literally from the ground, like sugar beans and all the other beans. Anyway, after 3 days, we needed to leave this beautiful sanctuary. And the person who struggled the most, of course, was Fez, because he not only made friends with the young ones, but he also made friends with the managers of this place. So that was pretty sad. But we needed to keep on going. The journey needs to continue. On the way to our accommodation, unfortunately, there was a truck that was on its side that we just passed on our right on the same highway. Now, this is the same highway we used in Zambia, which we literally describe as deadly and dangerous. We saw more accidents, and unfortunately, not too far from that, on our left as well, was another truck that had just literally fallen off the highway. When I tell you God's traveling mercies are with us on this trip, I do not play with that. Thank you, Lord, for your protection. We arrived safely at our accommodation, and this was the old farmhouse in Iringa. It was actually recommended by the same managers who we were with at the Utengule farm. I don't know if I mentioned that they are from South Africa. They are originally from Cape Town, actually. But yeah, now they are settled in Tanzania. They love it here, and they recommended this old farmhouse with a few cottage options. We ended up not going with this one. Hubby actually shot this, by the way. Big ups to him for shooting this. We ended up going with a cottage that has got an outside kitchen and something that we thought, okay, would be more suitable for our family. Thank goodness we were in a position where we could even choose, because y'all know Zambia it had no options for us. We got lost, okay? Thankfully, we arrived super early, so we got a chance to do a little quick tour of the room. Fezzi got to relax and play around. Oh, it was such a beautiful farm. The outside had so much space. This is what the bathroom looked like. And I also wanted to show you what we use as an air freshener everywhere we go. This is amazing, and it's from Bath and Body Works. And of course, my holy grail, I always get to a place and just start unpacking. These were my Portia M products, the body wash as well as the cream. Holy grail. In fact, I needed to shoot, but this little one would not let me be great. Listen, I waited for him to wash his hands and get out. This is what I ended up shooting, just my morning routine. I use the glycerin soap that is from the pomegranate range, the toner, as well as the serum. This is an intensive serum with niacinamide. I actually shot this for TikTok. If you don't follow me there, definitely do so. I also use the pomegranate cream, which is a day cream. My skin is sensitive, so I do prefer products that are made for sensitive skin. And of course, I protect my skin every single day, twice a day, with my pomegranate sunscreen lotion, which has got SPF 50. I just took a little walk around this cottage, thinking about like how much change is going on both in me and around us, and how much more change I need to brace myself to start embracing more of. I'm no longer the girl that started YouTube in 2016, 2017. Neither am I the girl I was 2 years ago, the mom, the wife, the content creator I was. But I am struggling to allow myself to fully embrace who I am becoming. I wish it came as easy as breathing, but it doesn't. And I'm usually one to encourage confidence and taking, that front seat of your life and driving it. But what happens when you hit that pit stop, that dead brake, and you just need to stop? It's scary because you don't know what to do. And I also struggle to give myself enough grace to just live, just take in the moment, just be, that's where I'm at, you know. But I think this journey of traveling has also just allowed me to be in isolation. Yes, I'm with my family, but to take time off of always being on. I am not confined to the definitions of who I was in South Africa. I'm not confined to the definitions of who I am as a sister, because nobody really knows me out here. And it's so funny that you choose how you present yourself to new people, to new groups, to new rooms, and that usually sets the tone of how maybe some people see you and perceive you as. So I think I'm having a whole little therapy session with myself to just be. And yeah, I don't need to know everything. I don't have to have everything figured out. And I also don't need to hold on to the Yolz that I do know. I'm having to unlearn the things she thought she knew. And she had a very much, wow, I'm talking about myself in third person, but she had a very dedicated single-mindedness to a lot of things. And I have to let go of that. From the mentality to the notions that I have, to the affirmations I used to affirm myself with back then, that I'm now questioning if they were my thoughts or someone else's. And of course, we're not just thinking of our own thoughts in our own ways, but it's very vital for us to always relook and reevaluate and change. When you are in a transitioning phase, those are the things that start changing. I think the way we think and the way that we perceive things and the way we see things start to all of a sudden, you know, almost dissolve in a way, and all of a sudden you seeing with a brand new pair of eyes, but they've always been in your head, they just new. I perceive myself in the way that I think people perceive me, and I need to also shed that. Yeah, I hope you guys are okay on the other side. I hear there's an egg situation in South Africa. By the time this vlog goes up, maybe in 2 weeks time, it might not be happening. So hopefully you're okay. It's getting late. I'm hungry. I've got to go inside. So I'll chat to you guys soon. For the first time in a very long time, I actually wished we stayed a little longer at the old farmhouse. It was quiet, tranquil, and just what we needed. However, what I didn't mention is that the border only gave us 7 days. Literally, they gave us what they call a transit visa. The person who was helping us at the border asked us what we're doing in Tanzania, and we were like, oh, we're traveling, seeing Africa. And he was like, oh, okay, where you headed? And we said Kenya, and that's where we'll stay the longest. Unfortunately, that's where he caught us out. It was like he's basically counting our days quite literally, and he was like, oh, okay, so you're in transit? We're like, no, we still want to see Tanzania, but we'll coming back down towards South Africa. Long story short, he said, okay, you're getting 7 days because you're technically in transit. Essentially, the most we could do was 3 days at one place, which was Utingule Farm, and everywhere else was 1 night only. And now we headed towards Arusha. We did stay in Dodoma, but did not actually film that. It had a similar pit toilet. It was a bit of a struggle for all of us, but we made it out. And towards Arusha, we found a stranger who actually helped us find our accommodation. We got lost a few times, but thankfully it was during the day. And guess what? The accommodation where we booked happened to be owned by this stranger's sister. What are the odds? Running into a man on the street, asking him if he knows this accommodation. And he's like, yeah, my sister actually owns this place. And yeah, this is why I say we have just been caught in the hands of grace. Arrived here feeling so comfortable and just thanking this man. I just can't believe how specific God is with us. If there's anything I would love you to take away from our travel diaries, it's that God loves you and He is so specific with His children. Good morning. We're at a taxi rank. I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm quickly taking this video. This is what it's looking like. Hubby is getting some chips. Feels awkward having the camera on because everyone's looking at you. Obviously we are at a taxi rank, but I want to show you guys the Gucci while hubby is driving. This is what I'm doing. And we got our chips. I hope they're good. Apparently they are amazing. Someone said I should try it. Ooh, junk. It's got sauce. Are they warm? No, they're not warm. They are cold. Okay. Well then, I was expecting a little more.
The question is, where do we go out? I think we go out that
same way we came. Okay, honeys. I'm a little underwhelmed. By the way, we're having it in Papati. Check y'all later. A little sad to leave Tanzania so soon. This is definitely the shortest 7 days it's ever felt, but we needed to keep moving. We don't want to be in trouble with any immigration, and we're still coming back to Tanzania towards Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar, hopefully. But for now, we were heading straight to Kenya, out of Arusha and into the Kenyan border. I've thoroughly enjoyed East Africa so far, and I cannot wait to have a taste once more of Kenya. In the next vlog, we arrive in the 5th country so far. Can you believe this is the furthest point we said we will go? We are finally here, and we still have 3 more countries to go, but you will see all that happened in Nairobi. We had a great time, and I cannot wait to see you in the next vlog. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next vlog. Mwah.